If you wanted to understand America in the 1980s, one of the best ways was to see it through the eyes of a teenager. Life for young people at that time was a mix of independence, creativity, social energy, and a fascination with new technology. Teenagers were discovering themselves, experimenting with fashion, music, cars, and friendships, shaping trends that influenced the decade. Walking through a city, suburb, or small town in the 1980s, teenagers seemed to have their own exciting, chaotic, and unforgettable world. One of the first things that defined teen life in the 1980s was fashion, bold, expressive, and heavily influenced by pop culture. You would see high-top sneakers, ripped jeans, oversized sweaters, bright jackets, neon accessories, and dramatic hairstyles everywhere. Boys and girls experimented with looks inspired by stars like Michael Jackson, Madonna, and Prince, whose MTV videos introduced trends weekly. Teenagers copied these styles not just for fun, but to show individuality and belong to a cultural movement in society. Streetwear influenced by hip-hop was emerging, especially in urban neighborhoods, including tracksuits, Adidas sneakers, gold chains, and baseball caps. Baggy pants became symbols of identity, representing creativity, skill, and sometimes neighborhood pride for teenagers in different communities. Music was more than entertainment. It was the heartbeat of teen life, influencing daily routines, moods, and social connections. Teens carried boomboxes everywhere, blasting hip-hop, funk, rock, and pop as they walked down streets and socialized. Breakdancers performed on cardboard mats on sidewalks and in parks, showing off moves learned from movies, videos, or friends. DJs experimented with scratching and mixing in small clubs and community centers, adding energy to local music scenes. Bands like The Clash, Run DMC, and Duran Duran were constantly on radio or in record stores, providing teens a soundtrack. Music also created opportunities for socializing through house parties, school dances, and outdoor hangouts centered around favorite songs. For many teenagers, cars were central to freedom and identity, representing independence and exploration outside their neighborhoods. Cruising became a major activity, with groups of teens driving slowly along main streets, music blasting, windows down. Friends chatted or showed off cars, while classic American muscle cars like Ford Mustang or Chevrolet Camaro were popular among affluent teens. Others enjoyed customizing smaller sedans or hatchbacks, making cars both transportation and mobile social spaces for connection. In coastal areas like Miami, teens drove to beaches at night, while in Los Angeles, Sunset Strip became a cruising hotspot. Arcades were another defining aspect of teenage culture, with kids spending hours on Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Street Fighter. Arcades were more than play. They were social hubs where teens learned skills, competed for high scores, and gathered in groups. These spaces were loud, colorful, and full of energy, creating a sense of community and excitement different from home or school. School life also shaped the teenage experience, with teens balancing academic expectations, social life, and hobbies. High schools in the 1980s had sports programs, music clubs, and social events providing structure and opportunities for friendships. Basketball courts were sports arenas, but also places where social hierarchies, reputations, and local skills were displayed among teens. Being good at sports or having distinctive clothing could instantly change how a teenager was perceived among peers. Hanging out with friends was essential, with teens spending time at malls, diners, drive-ins, and local parks regularly. Malls became cultural centers, filled with clothing stores, record shops, and fast food restaurants, allowing teens to socialize freely. These outings were about more than shopping. They were about being seen, meeting people, and forming bonds over shared interests. Fast food chains like McDonald's and Burger King became regular hangout spots where teens could grab snacks and talk for hours. The influence of media on teens in the 1980s cannot be overstated, shaping fashion, music, and attitudes in powerful ways. MTV, launched in 1981, changed how teenagers experienced music, giving visual life to songs and introducing dance moves. Movies like The Breakfast Club captured high school experiences, while Back to the Future sparked imagination and adventure. Television shows, magazines, and posters contributed to a rich visual environment where teens experimented with identity and creativity. Technology was starting to play a role, with personal computers like the Commodore 64 and early consoles providing home entertainment. However, nothing compared to communal experiences of arcades or social gatherings where teens shared music and competed in games. Recording music on cassette tapes, creating mixtapes, and sharing them became a central and fun part of daily teen life. Technology was exciting and tangible, and teens were at the forefront of exploring it in creative and social ways. Despite fun, teenage life in the 1980s was not without challenges, including crime, economic changes, and social tensions. These factors affected freedom and safety, yet creativity and culture flourished in many neighborhoods during the decade. Hip-hop, punk, skateboarding, and other movements often originated in overlooked areas, showing teenagers' powerful cultural influence. Ultimately, life in 1980s America, through a teenager's eyes, was about exploration, self-expression, and community. Teens defined identity through fashion, music, cars, arcades, and friendships, creating a vibrant subculture reflecting the decade's energy. Streets, malls, parks, and arcades were stages for life, offering opportunities to learn, play, compete, and connect daily. From neon-lit city nights to suburban drives, from high school dances to basketball courts, teenagers shaped a generation. Their experiences left lasting marks on American culture, influencing trends, entertainment, and social norms for decades to come.